Good morning, good afternoon and good evening everyone. My name is Liam and welcome to the first week. Week 1. Week uno. Numero uno. Weeko no. Love being from Brazil. Welcome to the first week of the Division 2 of the Pokemon Premier League. We had our draft analysis yesterday, so if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. It shows all the Pokemon we got in our draft team this season. And we're going to win this season. We're going to be champions of D2, and that's just all there is to it, because Pokemon is that damn easy. Pokemon's so easy, there's no way we can't win Division 2. First week, though, we're going against a good friend of mine, also a good enemy of mine, also not as good of acquaintance as mine. It is the one, the only, Mr. Shroomraver, aka Dave, aka David, aka Davey, aka Davey, my little baby boy. That's exactly what is down on his name tag, Shroomraver. And let me give you a bit of backstory with Shroomraver, a bit of a history lesson for those of you who might not have been watching all of the PPL stuff on the channel so far, or channels, being as it was on Pair of Exiles as well. The first time I faced Mr. Shroomraver, in the very first season I was in the Pokemon Premier League, it came down to a speed tie between Mamoswine and Blaziken, and he won the speed tie, as such winning the match. If I won the speed tie, I would have won the match. I was pretty annoyed. Skip forward one season to last season. He had a +3 Mega Ordino against my Kieran Black. I flinched him with Iron Head, therefore killing his Mega Ordino, and Kieran Black went on to get 5 kills and win me the match. Needless to say, Dave was pretty annoyed. This one, it's now 1-all. It's come down to this. This will be the decider for now as to who is the better man. And I really want to win this. Not only just to beat Dave, but because it's week 1. Last season I lost my week 1 match. The season before that I won. So if I win this one, then I'm positive differential on week 1s. Plus, you saw my differential in the Team Builder video yesterday. I think I'm 7 and 15 overall in the PPL. Need to start getting that up. That's a little bit embarrassing. Enough of the chit chat though. Let's go over Dave's team. Here's a scary one. He can bring Necrozma, and Necrozma is allowed to have any Z move it wants, which means it can use things like Z Stealth Rocks if it wants. Not that it probably would, but he can bring something like Z Stealth Rocks. He also can bring Terrakion, which can use any offensive Z move, such as Z Close Combat or Z Stone Edge, but he cannot use things like Z Rock Polish. He also has a Mandibuzz, a Mamoswine, a Zapdos, which can use offensive Z moves, Vaporeon, Salazzle, Zangoose, Mawile, and Dragonair. So Dave's been a little bit of a cheeky buncer. He's been a little bit of a cheeky bunce because he has taken Mamoswine, Vaporeon, Mawile, all of which I had in previous seasons. So really, he's just trying to be me. And I have to beat him now because nothing can be me. On a more serious note, his team is pretty scary because Necrozma is strong as AF. Very strong. Strong as AF, yeah. Terrakion can run through my team if it gets up a Rock Polish Sword Dance. Vaporeon's pretty good against my team. Zangoose is very good against my team. Like, Zangoose is actually terrifying for my team. It could literally destroy my whole team by itself. And Mawile walls my late game sweepers in Hitmonlee and Weavile. So, less than ideal right there. But that is not to say all hope is lost, for I have the team that is going to defeat Dave, and I shall go over it right now for you all to see. Coming up first, we have the lovely BBW, who is our Seismitoad. Seismitoad has 204 HP, 252 defense, and 52 special defense. It has the Assault Vest, and it has Earthquake, Drain Punch, Knockoff, and Ice Punch. This is going to be the thing that is going to defeat Vaporeon. There is no question about it. This is going to beat Vaporeon. This is also pretty good. In fact, I should leave Dave's team up on screen so you guys can see it as I'm talking. This is also a pretty good Pokemon to take on Salazzle. Also a pretty good Pokemon to take on Mawile. Also a pretty good Pokemon to take on Zapdos, assuming none of them have HP Grass. Although with this spread, I can take at least 1 HP Grass from each of them and hit back hard enough. Seismitoad is really nice in this matchup, especially with things like Drain Punch, because it can even hit Mamoswine, it can hit Terrakion, Knockoff can hit Necrozma. I pretty much have a moveset here to where I can hit everything on his team with some form of big damage apart from maybe the Vaporeon. But again, he has to run HP Grass on that Vaporeon just to touch me in that case. Next up on the list, we have Gemini, our Starmie, with the Analytic ability holding the ICMZ for Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Rapid Spin, and Thunderbolt. Again, ICMZ so he can hit that Sub-Zero Slammer. Starmie has 44 HP, 4 defense, 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 204 speed. That speed is enough to outspeed a Jolly Terrakion. Hydro Pump is there for big damage, because if he brings a... It's just for big damage on the Necrozma, really. Also, pretty much one-shots a Salazzle no matter what it is near enough. And it's also there to catch things that might want to switch out, and I get a big Analytic Hydro Pump on anything I like. Ice Beam is just there for Zapdos pretty much, also hits Mandibuzz, but I really want to hit that Zapdos if it comes out with the ICMZ. If I get the opportunity, I'm definitely going to take it, because Zapdos is a pain in the backside. Rapid Spin to keep rocks away, because I can see him bringing rocks maybe on the Marwile or the Necrozma especially, probably more so than Necrozma. And Thunderbolt is there so I don't get trapped in with Vaporeon with nothing to do. And it also hits Mandibuzz as well. Next up we have Magnum, our Weavile, with Ice Crash, Knockoff, Low Kick, Ice Shard, Pressure, Life Orb. Weavile has 28 HP, 252 attack, 28 defense, 4 special defense, and 196 speed. That speed is enough to outspeed a timid Salazzle. This is your standard .jpeg Weavile. Pretty much big ice move, knockoff, priority ice shard, and then one coverage move. Standard .jpeg Weavile. Ice Crash to hit things hard, knockoff to knock off items hard. Low Kick is there for the Terrakion and Mamoswine, pretty much. Also hits Marwile for neutral damage. Even though Marwile's pretty light, it's still neutral damage. Knockoff I probably might end up doing more, depending on if I am intimidated or not, and if Marwile has an item at that point. And Ice Shard is just there for the priority. Not much to say about Weavile, standard .Weavile. Next up we have Hitmonlee, a Horang. Fake Out, Close Combat, Stone Edge, Mach Punch, Unburden ability with the normal gem. 44 HP, 252 attack, 4 defense, 4 Spadef, and 204 speed. Enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Mamoswine. Pretty much, Hitmonlee has to do Hitmonlee things. It sucks that the Zangoose is going to outspeed me, which is why I have the Mach Punch, pretty much, because then if I can get an Unburden Mach Punch, then even if he has Quick Attack, I will outspeed him and hit him first. Close Combat is there just to do big damage, and I'm not running the Reckless this time, so Close Combat might as well pick that up. Don't want to risk the mist. Stone Edge is there, obviously, for Zapdos, pretty much. It also hits Mamoswine, should it come in on the switch for whatever reason. Also hits the Salazzle for super effective damage too. Pretty much, again, standard Hitmonlee. Not much to say about it. Late game sweeper with Unburden, fingers crossed, that's what we hope for. Next up we have Gourgeist in a super form. This is the big form of Gourgeist, with Will-O-Wisp, Leech Seed, Seed Bomb, and Synthesis, with the ability Frisk holding the Yachi Berry to take a hit from Mamoswine, pretty much. Standard Gourgeist set, just bold, 252 HP, 252 defense, 4 special defense. Hoping this is going to be my Mamoswine counter. Hoping it's going to be my Mamoswine counter. It will be a problem if he is Lumberry, because he will definitely get a... He'll definitely hit me with an Ice Shard. I'll hit him with a Will-O-Wisp. He'll heal off that, and then he'll probably kill me again. But I'll burn off the Lumberry. Pretty much Lumberry Mamoswine is pretty bad, but I'm thinking he might bring Banded. I'm thinking he might bring Banded just because Mamoswine does so much against my team that if he brings Banded, it's going to two-shot pretty much everything on my team. So that's what I'm thinking. Leech Seed because he doesn't have a single grass type, so I can Leech Seed on anything I want and get back the recovery, which is another reason why I don't have leftovers this week. Seed Bomb do big damage on Vaporeon because I think he's going to bring a... I'm pretty sure he'll bring a... Or rather, even if he brings a physical defensive one, Seed Bomb's still going to do pretty good damage, but I think he might bring a Spadef one, rather, to maybe take on Heatran a bit better. And Synthesis just there to heal back up, because again, I don't have the leftovers or anything like that. But yeah, this is going to be the answer to Mamoswine, this is my answer to Terrakion, and it might be the answer to Zangoose, depending on if he has knockoff or not. I'm pretty certain he will have knockoff, just to make sure to hit this thing. But it's still pretty decent indeed. And the last Pokemon we have is the Heatran. I've mentioned it briefly before. With the Magma Storm, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, and Stealth Rocks, Flash Fire, because I can't have Flame Body, and a Sugar Berry, so I can catch a Mamoswine Earthquake and hopefully live. Heatran has 52 HP, 4 defense, 252 special attack, 4 def, and 196 speed. That is enough to outspeed a uninvested neutral nature Zapdos. That's enough to outspeed a Zapdos that it may be bold or maybe a Spadef boosting nature. I don't remember what they are ever, but a Spadef boosting nature, and if he has no speed in it. I really wanted a nice special attack Heatran in this one because with the trapping of Magma Storm, not only will it do big damage to anything that comes in, but then I can get a bit of a switch off and bring in a counter to one of his team that I have as they're trapped in the Magma Storm. Earth Power is there to make sure I can hit the Salazzle, and it's pretty good for the Mawile as well, should he have an Ockerberry. Magma Storm again for trapping people, Flash Cannon for the Mamoswine because of Thick Fat, and again in case he has an Ockerberry on top of that Thick Fat. He may be running the Babiri Berry, but then he can't run Lumberry and Babiri Berry. So it's either going to be Heatran that's beating Mamoswine, or Gourgeist that's beating Mamoswine, hopefully one of the two. And Stealth Rocks, because Stealth Rocks are really nice against this team. They hit Salazzle, Zangoose, especially if it's already toxic, Zapdos, Mandibuzz, Mamoswine. Rocks are really nice against this team. I really want the Rocks up. So that's the team that's going to defeat the Shroom Raver. I shall leave it on the screen there in a very tiny box that you guys can see. That is the team that is going to defeat the Shroom Raver, aka Dave, aka David, aka Davey, aka David. Let me pass it over to Battle Liam, and we can get this battle started. Thank you, Team Builder Liam. This is Battle Liam here, ready to show you guys the battle between Liam, aka Unlawful Exile, aka the future champion of Division 2, versus Dave. Versus the Shroom Raver. So as you can see, as Team Builder Liam showed you, we are bringing Heatran, Hitmonlee, Starmie, Scythertoad, Weavile, and Gourgeist Super Form. Dave is bringing the Vaporeon, the Mawile, Necrozma, Zangoose, Zapdos, and Mamoswine. So he's bringing that Mamoswine, which is a real ball ache, to be honest. Mamoswine is a real ball ache. Vaporeon's also a bit of a ball ache. Vaporeon's ball ache. And Zangoose is just the scariest thing in the whole entire world. Zangoose is absolutely terrifying and could be a problem. But there's no Terrakion, which is pretty cool. And there's also no Salazzle, which is pretty awesome as well. Even though I kind of had decent things for Salazzle, I feel like if he brought a speedy sub-disable Salazzle, it could really run through the team. But like I said in the team, like Team Builder Liam said, not I'm Battle Liam. Like Team Builder Liam said during the team builder, really want Rocks up in this game. So I'm actually just going to start off with my Heatran here. That is the plan as I'm going to play the battle, which we'll eventually play, I promise. There we go. And Shazam! Dave is battling us with his Trilby Fedora tip, hello beautiful kind of thing. So we do start off with the Heatran, like I said, because I really want to get the Rocks up. However, Mr. Dave brings out Neville, aka Vaporeon, and predicts this very nicely. So I kind of just have to get out there. Definitely don't want to take a Scald, don't want to over-predict turn 1. So I'm just going to go out and go into my Seismitoad, who is the answer to this Vaporeon. He goes for the Scald, so I get the Water Absorb. Pretty glad I didn't stay in there. And at this point, I don't really have much to do to Vaporeon other than just knock off to get rid of its leftovers or whatever it's got. But he reveals the HP Grass, which does quite a lot. Doesn't quite do half because we do have the Assault Vest. And he's pretty much uninvested, but it does do quite a bit as we manage to knock off those leftovers. So here, I just went for another knockoff because I thought he was going to switch out. I'm pretty sure I went for Earthquake. He goes for Ice Beam. And we get Frozen. Get Frozen. Turn 3, Frozen. So now I have one Frozen Seismitoad. Like I said, I went for Earthquake there for damage on Vaporeon. Damage on Vaporeon would have been nice, but now I've just got a Frozen Toad instead. So pretty much on the back foot here from the start, because pretty much now it's a 6v5, or 6v5 in an Ice Block. So I have to take Toad out here just to try and keep some momentum. I don't want him getting off wishes or anything. I go into Gourgeist, knowing that even if he does go for an Ice Beam, Gourgeist can take it. Luckily, he just goes for the HP Grass again, and it does next to nothing. At this point, I was fairly confident he was going to switch out, but he didn't. He goes for the Ice Beam, which takes my Yachi Berry Rather unfortunate that he took that because I was trying to keep that for Mamoswine, but it does let me take the Ice Beam well enough so I can get the Leech Seed off. He didn't have a Grass type, so Leech Seed was a safe move to go for on anyone, whether he switched or stayed in. And because I don't have the leftovers, this gives me the residual recovery that I needed. So I'm taking some health away from Vaporeon, and because he is quite HP invested, we do get quite a bit back, which is nice. He has to switch out here because I can pretty much just Synthesis up and Leech Seed off. He does go into Necrozma though, as I go for the Will-O-Wisp, predicting... I was just wanting to get some more residual damage on Vaporeon, and Will-O-Wisp in anything was great. Will-O-Wisp in Necrozma is particularly good though, because Necrozma's more often than not have Earthquake, and I really need this Heatran in this game, and whether he had Earthquake or not, just getting the burn on Necrozma is nice because it's also a Z user, so if he had the Z Crystal, he's not going to be getting leftovers back. Nice residual damage, so I'm quite happy with the performance Gourgeist is putting in here. He does get hurt by the burn, that's not loads of damage admittedly, but it's still damage is damage. I switch out here predicting the Dark Pulse. I'm fairly certain he's going to go for a Dark Pulse here. I go into my Seismitoad because he's pretty useless, or she's pretty useless at the moment. Takes a Dark Pulse relatively well considering. I mean, I'm not Spadef invested pretty much at all, but I've just got Assault Vest, so Toad's taking some hits. Even as an Ice Cube, Toad's doing pretty well. He does just take out the Necrozma here and go straight back out into Vaporeon. I went for a knockoff there, trying to unfreeze myself, not going to work. Here I decided to make the switch again, predicting him to go for the HP Grass. I assume he just wants to kill off my Seismitoad, so I can stop switching into it, and then he can freely start going for Scalds whenever he wants. So I do get that prediction right as he goes for the HP Grass. I'm back into my Gourgeist here. So I do have to take an Ice Beam without my Yachi Berry this time, as I click Leech Seed again. Does a hell of a lot of damage, and record scratch, I get frozen again. Again. 2 freezes. That was less than, I think that was 10 turns. 10 turns, 2 freezes. Let me say that again. Let me say it for the people at the back. 10 turns, 2 freezes. Both my walls. My Spadef wall, my Fidef wall. They're now Ice Cube walls. Not much else to say. Both from Vaporeon, both from Ice Beam as well. So Dave, I'm pretty sure, managed to create himself a Serene Grace Vaporeon. So now I'm frozen solid. I don't get my Leech Seed off. And I don't have walls to switch into anymore, really. Because my plan was for Seismitoad to get recovery off Scalds and Gourgeist to get recovery off Synthesis. He goes into Zapdos here as I try to go for a Synthesis. And at this point, I don't want to let him do anything. I don't want to let him have momentum or anything like that. I'm fairly certain he wasn't going to just kill off my Gourgeist because he can go for an Agility or he can go for anything he wants, or a Baton Pass or Roost or Toxic or whatever. So I go into Weavile to make the bold play to try and keep momentum in my favour, and he does have Agility. So he's Agility, Baton Pass, so that's nice. Here he switches out. I made a double myself. He goes out into Sadie, which is his Marwile, which completely walls my Weavile, completely. Here I predicted him to Baton Pass out into potentially Zangoose or potentially Mamoswine, so I just made the double into my Heatran, which works out fantastically because now he has to switch, not wanting to take any fire moves because he won't be able to take any at all. He does go out into the Necrozma here though to answer my Heatran. I am just going to stay in and click Magma Storm, which thankfully lands and will do a lot of damage because I am fully special attack invested. And nice enough, I get a crit too, so that's sort of starting to make up for the fact that I got frozen twice, because Necrozma was going to be a real pain in the ass to kill. He takes the burn damage, takes the Magma Storm damage, and at this point he's pretty much dead. I would have liked to have gone for another Magma Storm on this turn to bait the fact that I might have been scarfed, but I couldn't risk the miss and taking damage. I needed my Heatran at full. So I just took down the Necrozma, and we're 6-5 up, even though 2 of our 6 are Ice Cubes. He does bring in the Mamoswine, and at this point, I know I have the berry that reduces ground moves. Shuka, that's the one, I couldn't remember the name of it. I know I have the Shuka berry. I know he's going to be fully attack invested, but I had to stay in at this point because I just needed to take out this Mamoswine. I just had to kill what was in front of me, pretty much. There was no debate about it. I just had to kill what was in front of me. And yeah, there was just it had to happen. So I just stayed in, hit the calc was in his favour to kill me, I'm pretty sure. He goes for the Earthquake. I do munch that Shuka Berry. Earthquake's going to do big damage, obviously, even with the Sugar Berry. But Ryan Dunn manages to live on 9 HP, which is perfect. The Sugar Berry plot worked. I go for the Flash Cannon, and that is going to be 1 dead Mamoswine. So we got big problems out the way straight away. Necrozma and Mamoswine both down without doing too much. He does get a free switch into that Zangoose though, which means he is going to get his Toxic Orb up fine. I can't stay in because he will kill me if anything, and I need this Heatran for Mawile still. So I just go out into my Gourgeist here to sack it off, because Gourgeist is not doing anything else with Necrozma and Mamoswine down. That was pretty much what it was there for, and the fact that Vaporeon had Ice Beam means it's not going to be answering that anyway. So at this point Gourgeist was not doing much left anyway. He does get poisoned though, and now the Zangoose is pretty much ready as he takes me out with the knockoff. I bring in Hitmonlee here just to threaten him out because he doesn't really want to take a fake out high jump kick combo. He's going to switch out into his Zapdos. I predicted the switch knowing he wouldn't want to stay in, as I make my own double and go out into my Starmie because it had a pretty good matchup against all his remaining Pokemon, even Vaporeon with Thunderbolt. At this point, this is exactly what I brought my Ice Z Crystal for, so I just click it and go for it. Even if he switches out because of Analytic, I would do crazy damage to anything, even Vaporeon, and I could kill it with a Thunderbolt afterwards. So I do just go for the Sub-Zero Slammer here on the Zapdos, hoping he's more Fizz Def than Special Defensive, because then I can take it out. I don't have to worry about this thing. I am going to land the Sub-Zero Slammer, and it's going to do a lot of damage, but that does show me that he is pretty much fully specially defensive, as he does take me out with the Thunderbolt. So Starmie did not do much, but it done what it needed, because I needed the damage on the Zapdos, otherwise I had nothing else to kill it off really other than Weavile, and he could have just switched into Mawile whenever he wanted. I do bring in Heatran here, managed to skillfully land another Magma Storm, and that is enough to take out the Zapdos. So Heatran picking up 3 kills here, as he does bring in the Goose Bolton. And this is where we get into the stage of the game where he knows he can just bring in Zangoose anytime he wants, and I know I can just pretty much bring in Heatran anytime I want, and we can both get kills. So he brings in Zangoose. I do luckily have one more Ice Cube to sacrifice, so BBW decides Mitoad's going to go down. So even though they were frozen, they still had their uses, and he is going to take a little bit of poison damage, which is great because I need damage on him so I can take him out with a Muck Punch from my Hitmonlee. Because he still doesn't know what item I am. I could be Choice Band, I could be Unburdened, which I am. He is going to switch out though and switch straight into Sadie. I pretty much predicted this again because Mawile is just his answer to my remaining threats, and he needs to keep his Zangoose around. So I pulled a double myself and go straight out into Ryan Dunn. My double game was on point in this match. He has to switch out. He needs this Mawile for the Weavile and the Hitmonlee. I predict him to switch, so I make a double out into my Weavile, knowing that the Mawile is going to switch out because he can't keep it in. I would kill it in one hit no matter what. He brings out the Vaporeon, and I can get some much needed damage on this thing. Even though I've already knocked off its item, I'm going to click knock off anyway, because it's my most damaging hit on him, and it's still going to do a lot of damage. He goes for the Scald, and it's going to do quite a bit of damage, because it's a Weavile, but he doesn't get the burn, which is nice. One more knockoff would put him near enough at like 5%, I think. He's going to go out into the Mawile though, so he's going to intimidate me. I just stayed in and clicked knock off again, because at this point I don't really think I need Weavile, and there's not much else I could do. So I do knock off. Thankfully I knock off his Ockerberry, so he might have been able to take a Magma Storm, I don't know. I am fully special attack invested, and he has no Spadef, so I don't know if he would have been able to take one, probably. But I do get some nice damage off on Mawile as I sacrifice Weavile here. And this is an odd point in the game, because at this point I thought I lost. Which I'll show you as I bring in this next Pokemon. As I bring in my Heatran. At this point I was fairly convinced I lost, because I only have Heatran and Hitmonlee left. Even if I went into it, no matter what move I went for here, if I went for Magma Storm, he goes into Vaporeon, I could probably take out the Vaporeon. Yeah, that was my thought process. I thought he's going to go out into Vaporeon here, no matter what. Even if I kill Vaporeon and I leave in Heatran, he can just bring in the Zangoose, and then something on my team has to die. And I need both Hitmonlee and Heatran to win this. So I was fairly convinced I was just going to lose here. I just didn't have the Pokemon left to get past the Mawile, as well as take a hit from Zangoose and whatever. So I am going to go for a double here because he does still need it. There was just nothing else I could do. I just had to hope that he was going to switch out the Marwile and go into the Vaporeon. And thankfully, he did. Thankfully, he did. Hitmonlee. Now I get a free close combat off on anything. Even if he brings in the Marwile, it doesn't really want to take close combat as neutral damage. I am going to take out the Vaporeon with the close combat. But now I'm at -1 defense and special defense. So it's pretty much... He can bring in the Zangoose and... He probably could have killed me off with Facade there or something. But he does bring in the Marwile, intimidates me, knocks me down. I have to switch out here because I'm not going to take it out from this range with 2 close combats. So I have to let Ryan Dunn go down here. And this was my thought process because now I have to beat Marwile with Hitmonlee. So this is why I was pretty sure I lost. This is why I was pretty sure I just lost at that point. Because it's just like, he had too many Pokemon to defeat with Hitmonlee. And he just kept that Marwile around so well. And it just completely answered everything I'd done. So Heatran goes down, finishing 3-1, which is a great performance from Heatran. Marwile switches out. In comes the Goose Bolton. He's going to sack off the Goose Bolton pretty much. Going to get the Intimidate with Marwile and then probably just kill me with a Play Rough. I do have to just pretty much go for my Unburden here. So I do go for the Fake Out. Get some nice damage off. I am Unburden boosted now. He gets a bit more toxic damage. And I do go for the Muck Punch on this turn. And I pick up the kill there, which was a roll in Dave's favour. That was definitely a roll in Dave's favour. I think I had a 25% chance to kill him from that range. So luckily we got that 1 in 4 chance pretty much to kill with the Muck Punch. If we didn't, he would have just killed me right then and there because he had quick attack. So I had to go for the Muck Punch. I couldn't have gone for the close combat. And now it's pretty much down to Hitmonlee and Marwile. And I'm going to be at -1 attack. And he has the Play Rough, so it is absolutely going to take me out, especially after I go for another close combat, which puts me at -2. I have to go for a close combat because two max roll close combat kill him. So I go for the close combat on that one, and I get the max roll. That is the absolute max roll of close combat, 35%. My defense goes down, he goes for the Play Rough, and he misses the Play Rough! He missed it! And Hitmonlee goes for a close combat and gets another max roll! Hitmonlee with the 2 max rolls. 2 max rolls on his close combat. And we pick up the win. We pick up the win thanks to 2 max rolls on close combat and the Play Rough miss. That was such an insane battle. Literally insane battle. I pretty much won with half a Pokemon at the end. He got 2 freezes in the first 10 turns. I got a crit on Magma Storm. I landed every Magma Storm. I got high rolls on close combat and Muck Punches. Made the craziest doubles around. I didn't even calc some of his stuff. He might have got some high rolls on Ice Beams or whatever, or I don't know. He didn't get Scald Burn, which was crazy. It was just like, I don't know who the hacks fell in favour of. I suppose you can say it fell in favour of me because I won, but I played with both my walls frozen. I got high rolls though as well, and he missed that last Play Rough, even though I didn't miss a single Magma Storm. I don't know. It was just crazy. It was an insane battle. Nothing to take away from Dave Shroomraver. It was perfectly played on both our sides. There was no mistakes made by either person. I feel like that was both probably one of the better games we've both had, and that's the second time I've beaten Dave. That's the second time. I'm 2-1 against Shroomraver, and we got our first win of the season. First game, first win. Let's go! Keeping the dream alive. We are going to be the D2 champion this season. I don't care what anyone says. Thank you guys for watching this video though. It's been great. Make sure you check out Dave's side of the battle. His channel will be in the description below. You can hear how angry he got at each in particular thing, and you can hear how freaking over the moon he probably was with Ice Beam, even though he was a bit of a cheeky git and tried to set up an agility on a frozen Gorgeist. Dave, I see you. And make sure you tune in next Wednesday, where we're going to take on another good friend of mine, Richie, and the coach of the Liverwurmpool FC. Again, that is next Wednesday. If you want to buy a West Ham United t-shirt, mug, iPhone case, socks, probably not socks, but whatever they are, down in the description below there is a shop. Go ahead and support it. Thank you all for watching this video. I love you all very much. And come back next Wednesday to support your 1-0 West Ham United team. Take care everyone. Love you all. Mwah! Bye bye.